Hey guys, welcome to Take Out Kings Edition 3. Just about to go down. I'll tell us real quick who our kings are, and because we've got some special guests on Take Out Kings today. But I'll start with Mr. Eric Simba. I always call him Mr. Mook.com, but this guy has his finger on the pulse of what's going on Gig Central because of Mook.com. So Mr. Eric Simba. Returning to Take Out Kings Edition 3, we've got Mr. Gift Maura. And he's digital strategist. Love this guy. He's worked with all the top youth and lifestyle brands. So it's good to have a Gift. But we've got two very special guests with us today. Jojo Kobuthi, Kuria.
Never met before.
Never met. I met her on the streets today, just walking aimlessly.
Famous blogger.
Famous blogger, absolutely famous vlogger as well. Yeah. Founder of the Double X Agenda, and she's passionate about gender and all those things, which is cool because we're talking about that today. And very special guest today, we've got the one, the only. I know she doesn't like that, but the one, the only. Mogul in the making. Give it up for the one, the only Miss Amina Rabar. So you guys know Amina Rabar because she's everywhere. That media is happening. Host of the #1 youth show, The Trend. Host of the #1 breakfast radio show, Capital FM. What's it called?
It's called Capital in the Morning. Yeah.
Capital in the Morning.
Do we have a name? Oh my God, Farid! I don't think we have a name. Just for Amina and Farid.
Kazi Kwako.
I don't think we have a name. We're not that serious.
Okay, so Mr. Gift, you're our resident foodie today, so tell us a bit about what Mutua brought for us.
When Mutua came through today, brought something that I really, really love, my favorite meal, which is fried chicken. And it came from a joint which is like #1 hangout joint in Nairobi. Have different options when it comes to chicken. They have spicy chicken, they have original chicken, they have chicken wraps, they have chicken burgers, and they have, what else? Spicy chicken, honey glazed chicken. I don't think the chicken gets the respect that it deserves on this side of the town, but I want to give it up to our boys who are always in red and white. Give it up for KFC.
We've talked a lot about music and Kenyan music and whatnot in the past couple of shows, so I don't want to spend time on that. But I do have just one question. You know me well. So a couple of Kenyan songs were banned this past week. I don't even know if they're still on YouTube. There's Tarimbo by Ethic, and there's Vitamin U by Timmy Tidat. What do you guys think? Before even did you check them out?
Yep.
Have you seen them? What's your just a quick response?
Simba was smiling. He's like, yeah, I saw it. I saw the videos.
The video that I watched, which you said, it was blurred. So I mean, they like blurred.
Which one?
Yeah, like the Vitamin T that one.
Yeah, Vitamin U.
Like the Vitamin U. Like I mean, you could see what was going on. But it's just like I was like, man, I'm like, if that thing was not blood, like that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, man, that's quite.
What did you say? Did you even finish watching?
I didn't. I couldn't go beyond one minute just because the women. I'm like, why should you pose in the video and half naked? And by the way, the guys are always fully clothed. What's up with that? Like, what's up?
That's really like when you say
Vitamin U,
not in Vitamin U,
but generally, guys are fully clothed, hoodies, the wax, and then girls have like nothing.
But let me ask, and maybe this helps us get into it. So we talked about all these videos from Ethic and Sailors and guys like that. And you're right, it's always the guys who are the musicians and the girls who are the what's the right word? Video vixens.
Yep.
And the last time we talked about this thing for the music, in a sense, reflects society. We talked about that last time. Music reflects what's happening in culture and society. Yeah. So if that's the case, is this what society is like? Is it men degrading women? Is there a problem with our? I don't even know if the word is masculinity. Yeah? Is there like a brokenness about it? Is this really the picture?
First of all, yes, there is. There has been a very big issue with your masculinity. I'm wondering how you're realizing.
I like how she
Joanne,
your
I think
masculinity.
I'm a few centuries back. If we could trace it to like BC. No, okay, so here's the thing. Now, I know it's so funny because we always say that. I think it's such a, I don't know, it's like that, you know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Because it is a reflection, yes, but then also music just has this way of communicating things. So in as much as, yes, this is what has been happening, remember then the music also perpetuates that message. So we sort of like, we're amplifying that message through the music, which also influences how people think. So then I meet all these young girls, because I do a lot of youthful shows, and I'm always like, Mamu, skivvy, bye. Like, you know, I'm just trying to be like, do you want to twerk the whole time? Like, don't you feel like, because sometimes like a girl is passed on from one guy to another. You know what I mean? Like she's twerking really nicely, and then like this guy's is like, yo, my guy, my G, you guy, well, like, you gotta, you know what I mean? Like, you need to come through. And I'm always like, don't you feel objectified? Don't you feel victimized? You know, and they don't feel as exploited, and sometimes it really breaks my heart. It's almost like the cycle has gone on for so long to the point that they don't even know right from wrong. It's so acceptable, you know, and then we justify it by saying it's art, manze, you've taken it out of context. No, I think that there are things in whatever context, like you can't even contextualize, you know, rape lyrics or like rape culture. There's no way that you could be like, oh, that's
no place where it fits.
When you're like, because people make it sound like sometimes when you're having sex that it could get rough, and then you could be like, rape me or whatever. In a song, like, I don't know what kind of message you're trying to send. You know what I mean? Because people make it sound like, but it happens. It is not like that. It's like, you know, when a chick says, I don't know, choke me. I don't know. I need to cry. Because I don't think a future pedophile understands that context.
Like there's no line for him that this is as far as I go.
Yeah.
That's so profound.
I also think that in a lot of ways that like sometimes I wonder if this is a reflection of our society or just a reflection of what our society is being exposed to. And by that I mean, like, you know, a lot of this stuff that we're looking at is like what has been going on in hip hop culture for a really long time. You get what I'm saying? So almost in a sense, like when you're seeing all these babes twerking and all that stuff that's happening is not stuff that is a part of our culture per se. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of hip hop culture. And right now hip hop is the biggest genre in the world, right? And I feel like this is just kind of like a reflection of that in terms of like that this is what these kids have been listening to.
I mean, when we say it's a reflection of society, what exactly do we mean? I don't see people like twerking in the street, so I need to understand it fully. When you say what is it reflecting? Explain it to me so that I can understand. I know we live in a very highly
of loose morals, but
we do live in a highly sexualized society. That is also true. But you see, we can't keep saying, what is it reflecting? What is this? Are we not? I feel like sometimes the message is passed through the music.
The music, but the art is the driver.
People are like, oh, that's what we should be doing. You know, and social media and all of these platforms that are showing all these videos have become so powerful and so influential because young people, especially, you know, young people are very gullible. You know, because you're so naive, you don't know what sex is, you don't know what masculinity is, you don't know what and you see these videos and in your mind you're like, okay, so pretending that I own all these houses and pretending that I have all these women with me and pretending, so that's what success means, and that's how I earn my street cred.
But you know what is a reflection of society is a nuance that we don't particularly see in the video. In the video you will see the girl twerking. You don't see the power play between men and women. You don't see why the guy is overdressed and the girl is underdressed. You don't see why in a particular video we're not objectifying the guy. We're objectifying the girl.
And also, Joanne, just to add on that real quick, is that the men in a lot of the videos are rich, successful, discussing very important deals.
Exactly.
And women are around naked, counting money, or I don't even know doing what. So you think that the only way you could be successful is if you're behind a man.
All right, do you speak for the men as well?
Okay,
Okay, fantastic. So, all
right,
I'll give an example. So for Vitamin U, I watched it 4 times.
Wow.
Because someone shared it 4 times from 4 different groups. So my high school group.
So you don't think I've watched this before?
The entire 5 minutes is like, I don't know if I've seen this before.
Looks familiar.
I have to get the details and everything, but something really interesting about it is, giving credit where it's due, Ethic pulled down the video to the song, right?
Hey, they want me to pull it down.
And they did a public apology about it, right? It reminds me to what Kanye said in one of his songs when it comes to entertainment. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative. It gets people going. And that's what I look at when it comes to entertainment at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes even when, look at what Ethic had posted in terms of an apology, he just wrote random things just to get guys moving and everything. When you look back, you're like, what does this actually mean? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you look at entertainment like, it's just like a fun,
fun, easy going.
It's the opposite of formality. Yeah. So if you're not going to be in your suit, you're going to be dressed down and that sort of things. But then look at it and say, what essence are you actually pushing on?
I want to pick up on something she said though. And she said this thing about the way the men are always fully dressed. It's always men taking advantage of women. And, you know, for me, the question I have is that society? Is that what happens in society? Is there, and the thing I keep asking is there something broken about masculinity? Is there like an issue, you know? Is there something broken about it?
There is. It's very evident. I mean, we live in a system and a structure that men are the carriers of capital, of finance, of privilege, of power,
religion,
and so what then happens is you tend to then have to align with that. And that's why for the longest time ever, for a woman to rise up the ladder, you had to be strong and hard and almost, like emotionless and power suits, so like some dark, drabby suits just because it's closer to what you see men wearing. And so society has set up the standard, and the standard is male. And so the closer you are to male, the more access you have to instruments of power, to privilege, to economy, to everything else. And so there is a brokenness in masculinity.
So is it a brokenness in the system because men have the keys to things? Is that where the brokenness is? Or is the brokenness that men are misusing? What's the issue?
Not in itself. In itself. I mean, women can have the instruments. So not in itself, but I think the abuse is the issue. So when you have very progressive female legislation that says girls can inherit property, but your dad is like, yo, no, excuse me, that can't happen here. That the system has sort of like enabled progression, but this particular individual has sort of like disabled that progression. When you have femicide, girls being killed because of their gender by their male intimate partners, that's a broken system. When you have, I read a very interesting article by Timothy Njoya a while back, and he said he interviewed men who were incarcerated in prison, and he said that one of the men he interviewed said, I raped my 2-year-old granddaughter to prove a point to my son. Mimi ni mwanamume. That's like the height of brokenness, That's a height of brokenness. So you want to thump your authority because society has told you being a man is this.
Yes.
You don't cry, you don't wear pink, you're strong, you beat, you hate, you do stuff like that.
You don't wear pink.
There you go, pink.
I don't know what's going on here.
Pink is a beautiful color.
I think one of the things that, I've been having this discussion for the last, I think probably a couple of months now. Because I feel like this year has been like the year of like, the lamentations of Kenyan women. I mean, the amount of women that I've met who like consistently are just like, yo, what's wrong with you guys? And it's just like this whole rant about like, and the thing that's also interesting is that there's also a different perspective because in the sense that I find that there's a lot of, right now, so I went for this conference, I don't know if it's a conference, whatever it is, and it's a thing for like people who are in corporates, senior management type situation. And the thing that amazed me was how many women are in senior management, right? And not only just that, like I feel like especially in Kenya, compared to other societies, there's a lot of women who are kind of going up the ranks in regards to like the corporate world. And the thing is that all these women, first of all, we have this kind of like what I consider to be like an epidemic of single moms, right? And then on top of that, and a lot of these women are in situations where their success is what has made these men reject them, right? So meaning in a sense that...
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
In fact, for most of the women, most of the women who are in these lamentations are women who are doing quite well, right? Making progress, all that stuff. And the thing that's so interesting is, just having this discussion and trying to understand that, and you realize that for most of these women, some of the best decision that they made was to leave this guy. And that's kind of what propelled them to a whole new level.
Because a lot of them
so exactly. So meaning that as part of this kind of like what I've been hearing and seeing in this toxic masculinity, if I was to call it that, is that this guy first is not able, and a lot of men are not able to come to terms with
a strong,
successful woman. Like it's like that brings so much threat to their masculinity that it's like
You know what? I don't blame them.
Yeah, you don't blame them.
I don't blame them.
Tell us about that.
You don't grow up. You don't grow. You're not conditioned, and you're not told to handle a successful woman.
Yes.
It's not part of parenting.
Yeah.
You know. And for the longest time ever, a strong woman was an anomaly. And if you were strong, you were like, oh, that one.
And for you to be strong, remember, in whatever society, community,
oh my
like
gosh,
whatever you
yes.
live, they're always like, unajua ule mama, because a lot of them, like you said, Simba, are single. So people will be like, unaona kama ule, usituke kama yeye. Almost like you being so, like you could be successful, Kuria. Just not too successful. Like, you know, just like, not too much. And those are one of the things, and you know, so when I met my husband, those are one of the things that I was really shocked about, because at the time, a lot of people who I would interact with would be very disappointed that I worked so much. You know what I mean? And he was the first person who I met and made me feel like I wasn't working enough. And so in as much as the whole world would look at me and be like, oh, you put in a lot of effort, you work so hard. He said, how does working, my husband doesn't make me feel like that. He makes me feel like, you know what, there's actually a lot more that you can do.
Can I ask you? So it's an interesting point. Do you think that then women can be, I need to phrase this well, do you think that women can be strong, can be successful, but can be feminine? What does that mean?
Can.
What does that mean?
Can I tell you why?
And the reason I ask is because when she talks about that society kind of pushes those women to become strong, to become hard, to become a man, those power suits, dark colors, and all of that. What does it mean for you to be a strong woman,
You know, what's really sad?
but to be a woman? In fact, is there something like that? Is that
There is. You see, what happens is, just going back to Joanne's point, which is what I'm like, because we view the world so differently. I bet you guys don't even see it. Like, it's so like inculcated in your brains. You guys don't even really see it. As women, for you to rise to the top, you almost have to be a man. There's even that very famous book by Steve Harvey that says you have to think like a man but act like a lady, because sometimes you just have to, for you to be in this man's world where, I mean, whether we like it or not, you know, men are in control of a lot of very powerful positions.
Do you think then those successful women you're talking about who end up being single mothers, do you think someone would say, well, then maybe she lost her femininity? And it didn't work in the context of a relationship.
It's because it
was the chicken and the egg. What came first?
Yeah.
Was it the sense, because the way that I look at it is that, you know, just kind of tagging onto your example, right, in terms of how you talked about your husband, is that the guy that you're with, right, cannot fathom or understand or know how to handle what is happening in front of him. Right?
And what is happening in front of him?
This is exactly. So the thing is, what we're realizing right now, in this time and age, is the fact that because we've given women more freedom, that one, we've discovered that
because
women are
given.
Yes, in a sense, because women have been given
because
more.
it was yours to give. That's what you think. But do you see what I'm saying? It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Let me put it differently. Because women have been, in a sense, unleashed, right? From all the cages, all the men's world, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what we're realizing is that the woman is incredibly productive. And not only that, she's actually, in most times, better than the dude, right? And so now what's happening is that there's this intersection where guys are just like, yo, but they don't know how to deal with that. Because you're looking anyway, that's why they're going up the corporate ladder, right? It's because it's like, if you actually look at it, when I run a company, if you look at it, the babes, generally you're like, man, these guys, more output.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and usually more committed. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that for us as guys, we don't look at that as like, wow, this is so dope. Because now we have even a better situation for our country. And not only that, you even have a better situation for your family. Because you're like, man, so now I'm not the only guy who has to carry this mzigo for it's like I have a partner who I don't have to career. In fact, what we have to do is that I have to figure out how
can partner together to that. It's interesting because when it comes to toxic masculinity, we had a conversation with Kuria a few minutes ago. I don't remember. So you have a friend who works in corporate Kenya.
A few minutes ago. Probably not.
Getting old, bro. So we have a guy who works in corporate Kenya, good friend of ours. He's done really well for himself. And I was like, so I asked this guy, like, hey, what do you think this guy is doing right? I'm like, hey, this is hard work. This is the favor of God. This is diligence. As in, he put his head down and worked at it. But then you look at babes like Amina, I tell her she's number one hustler in Nairobi. But if you ask guys, tell, hey, what happened to like news anchors, female news anchors? Everyone will say like, hey, this chick slept with this guy, slept with this nanny.
To
go to the top, that's the thing, man.
No, that's actually something else that I also completely disagree with. And I feel like it's something that just needs to stop. For a lot of women who are in the media, or a lot of women who are personalities, a lot of the rumors are always that they progressed because they slept with someone. That's also 90% of them, and that needs to stop. You know, that needs to stop right now, even from you sharing that story. And we need to just stop making it look like it's a normal thing. No, I know. I'm just saying that generally we've all been in that position. Let's not pretend. A lot of us have been in that position where you believed that someone had to sleep with someone to make it to another place, and I completely disagree. So no, they don't all do that. Some of them work really, 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 really hard. I mean, yeah, they were.
I think usually especially I think what happens with women is that one, if you're attractive, right,
Yeah.
and
Like God forbid.
and you climb up the ladder,
Really fast.
automatically. This one.
Let me ask you guys though. We're talking about, on one hand, you've got your corporate Kenyan, you've got your corporate, women who are rising up the ranks, doing really well. On the other hand, and I want to pull us back into this conversation, on the other hand, you've got all these ladies who are in these videos and whatnot, and you have this huge spectrum from one end to the other. When you talk about this end of the spectrum, do you think that women allow themselves to be objectified?
Yo, what's up, people? My name is Eric Simba. Take Out Kings. Go check it out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and be sure to subscribe right down here. Down here. Can you see the right there? Is it there? Can you see it? Can you? Please go subscribe. Leave your comments and subscribe. That's what's up.